All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Have you ever seen one of those movies like where the person is trying really, really hard and everything seems to be a struggle and they're working hard and they're doing this and that and doing this and all of a sudden they meet a genie or like a soothsayer or something.
Yeah.
Almost like the Wizard of Oz.
Almost.
You know, where all of a sudden you're told, you already have everything you need. Mm-hmm. Like that's what happened to Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, right? She was talking to that witch or that good witch, whatever it was.
Yeah, Glinda, the good witch of the north.
And she says, "Well, you already got what you need. Just tap your heels together and go home." It's like, holy mackerel! The whole time you have it. Exactly. Well, what if that was true for all of us? You already have everything it takes. Self-defined success is the title of the book. It is written by Ngan
Nguyen.
Nguyen? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just didn't practice how to say her name. She's on the phone, probably cringing. Let's say hi to her and not do this to her anymore. Good morning. Oh my gosh, please pronounce your name for me.
Hi, good morning. No, you said it very well. It's Ngan Nguyen.
Ngan Nguyen? Like that?
Yes. It's a hard one.
Oh wow. And where are you?
I'm in Boston.
In Boston? Wow. How's the weather? It must be nice there today, right?
It is. It's starting to get really nice. They're right in the middle of summer. It's around the 80s, I think, today.
Nice.
So tell me about this. I mean, did you have this aha moment? Like, oh my gosh, you know what we do? We try to lean on other people's advice too much. Don't you think? So, like when you say in your subtitle, we already have everything it takes, it's almost like telling us, God, I knew that all along, didn't I?
Yeah, I really relate to what you shared where, you're struggling, you're working really hard, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and shows you, this system or how to approach it. And all of a sudden it's like an eye-opening moment where that was like that for me, where I had really so grateful to have such amazing mentors that really showed me how to move forward in times where I was really struggling, and it just created amazing breakthroughs for me. And so when I got to a certain point, I've always had a love for writing, so I just wanted to share that story and write about it here so that more people have access to that information, because it's been so transformative in my life.
I think when we look at other successful people, we think it's harder than it really is. Not that it doesn't take work, but I mean, it's kind of like learning a musical instrument. If you just keep working at it, it's not as hard as you thought it would be in the beginning.
For sure, yeah. I think, of course, you have to do the work. Right? You can think and dream all you want, but if you don't take the action, you're never going to get there. But at the same time, it's almost like, standing on the shoulders of giants, right? There are people who've understood, how to create the results they want, and you can learn that rather than reinventing the wheel and trying everything yourself. Once you actually understand that there's an order, you can really achieve results that you want faster, and you really do have a lot of what you need in order to do that already.
So talk about that just for a second, because a lot of times we feel that success leaves clues, and yet sometimes the most successful among us are the ones who took the road less. What's that?
Less traveled.
Robert Frost thing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That sometimes those are the successful ones, the ones who didn't do it the way everybody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really important there to say that, you have to achieve success that resonates with you, right? Because if you follow success that other people have achieved, maybe you will get there, you will get what they have achieved, but what if it's not what you want? So you really have to source from within. It's what does success mean to me? What is it that I really want to create? Get that clarity and then move forward on that, so that when you get to that end result, it's actually indeed, what will actually provide that sense of happiness and fulfillment, which I really believe is ultimately what we want, right? We don't want someone else's success. We want our own success.
And what you bring out as a revelation in your book is that sometimes people will get confused. Should I please my parents and go down this road, or should I really look inside my heart and see what do I want and go for that, but don't diss my parents or somebody else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we have such a great point that you bring up, right? Because sometimes people don't really allow themselves to want what is it that they want, and they look around as far as, what other people want them to do or what's possible. But the thing is that I really believe that we're all unique individuals, right? We have our unique talents and gifts and passions that if we were truly living up to our potential, it would be something different that is creating the world that no one has ever seen before. And so you really have to source from within and build up that confidence to be able to move forward and really not ignore, I would say, because you want to value the opinions of those around you that love you, but also honor what you want as well.
But it's all about being authentic, though.
Yes, definitely.
I think so. When you are working as a coach for somebody else, see, I think sometimes that's part of what we need, but we never know who to turn to be that coach. We want to make sure it's somebody who really understands what we're trying to achieve. So who is your coach? Who do you turn to for the best advice that you would ever need?
I have a couple coaches, and I've been really blessed to have them come into my life. I don't even know where I would be without them. And I think the thing about how they came into my life was it all starts with intention and clarity, right? That before I ever met my coach, many folks here may know her. She's actually one of the leading transformational coach, Mary Morrissey. But I set an intention that I really had reached a point in my personal development and study where I felt like I've gone as far as I could. And I really need a guru in some sense to come into my life and show me what's next. And I set my intention, I put it out there that's what I wanted. And then within a few months, she came into my life and really helped me take that next level. And it's important when you look for a coach to find that resonance, like someone who cares about you, of course, who has that knowledge, but it also, you have to connect with this person because that you can really trust them and know that they have your best interests in mind.
And how does the individual keep from being complacent? Because sometimes they'll set a goal and say, okay, I've achieved this goal. Now I'm going to sit back and let, my customers come to me.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I think the power in having a proven success system is that these motivating factors are built in it. In my book, I talk about creating a compelling vision, right? A crystallized vision plan, and the power of a well-constructed vision. Because a vision, people talk about a lot, but there's actually the right way to do it, and the proper vision will pull you forward. It'll create that momentum, will create that motivation for you, and then the actions that you take shouldn't be. You have to work hard, but it shouldn't be so much uphill battle that the system does the work for you. And when you work within the system, it continuously moves you forward so that, those days where you just wake up and you're like, I don't want to do anything, you can fall back on something too. And that's the power in creating the right structures, right? Like scaffolding for your success.
Yeah, we've heard numerous people actually say something to the effect of a lot of people are right 3 feet away from success, let's say, and then they will say it's never going to happen and they will give up. So how would you know, how would you know if you decided not to get up that day or not to, you said, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for 2 years, I'm done. And meanwhile, the next day could have been the day. Writing a book is a great example of that and getting it published, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this book actually has been on the back burner for about a year and a half. It's been through multiple iterations and versions. But you bring up such a good point. It's like that 3 feet from gold story, everything from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Right.
Where, and I always I always tell my clients that I work with them that you only hold yourself accountable taking at least one action step forward every single day. And you do it within the system where you have that clarity of that vision is pulling you forward, and you commit to that. And that's a commitment, right? You have to at least do one action step a day because you want your vision enough. And then, you give yourself a break. Some days you do more, some days you do less. And there's also a mindset thing where every action that I take, I do it with the mindset that this is it. Like, this is going to be the breakthrough, and it's like you will yourself into being motivated in some ways.
Well, going into some of the ideas that are being put forth in the political realm in the United States, you've got a few people on one side that want the U.S. to remain capitalistic, and other people want to be have socialism. How do you keep one person from falling under the guise of thinking socialism is better than capitalism?
That's really a really good point. I don't know. I really honor the fact that people's different political views, right? And so there's probably right and merits in both those views. And I think the thing in the U.S. political system is, of course, recognizing why we have a certain view, but also respecting those of the other opponents as well, that there's probably a balance there that we can find in both those viewpoints, and there's no really right or wrong, right? That people truly want what's best for our country, and they just have a different perspective and background that they're coming in with.
I want to talk to you a little bit about belief in yourself, and also the title Self-Defined Success. And here's what I want to, here's how I can help you understand what I'm asking. When we say self-defined success, if I ask myself, let's say 20 years ago, to define success, it's going to be completely different than now, because now I guess my eyes opened at one point and I realized, oh my gosh, I was limiting myself by not believing. I was self-defining success, but I had no idea that I could have a bigger definition. You know what I mean? So I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. How do you change how do you change what you believe is success so that maybe it's a little better than you had imagined?
That's such a great point, because our dreams and our visions and our definition of success changes, right? Like, we grow in our awareness, and what we feel is success will definitely grow. What I encourage people when they're looking at success is really ignore for just a moment because it's the how to get there. It doesn't matter until you know the what. So you got to focus on creating the what first. And when you're creating the what, just for a moment, suspend what you've been able to achieve, what's possible, all the economy, what's happening in the political system, whatever, all of that. Just ask yourself what you would love and go for the highest vision at the moment that you know of, and craft that, and just say, what would I love, and write that down, and then know that you're going to revisit this regularly, and that you will definitely see it grow. Because in my experience, as you move forward and you have more belief in yourself and more confidence, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can actually do more.
It's interesting.
Maybe, yes.
It's interesting you said write it down, because again, this is another one of those metaphysical things that you have to wonder, is it real or not? Have you tried writing things down as a way to achieve your goals?
Oh, I write everything down, because there's actually a lot of studies that say that when you're thinking something, right, it activates one part of your brain, but when you actually write it down, it activates multiple parts, and it actually makes it more real for you. So a goal written down is so much more powerful. So I would always say, write it down and then read it regularly and revisit it and edit it, because it becomes more real. And the funny thing is that I actually was talking to a client the other day where she's been thinking this, we've been talking about vision, and she was sharing with me how, oh my God, when she sat down to write it, there's all this fear that came up, because oh, now it's real. Now I'm committing to this. So.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
How do you keep ego from getting in the way? Because sometimes somebody might have an observation and you really should go in that direction.
I would say this is the point where you just suspend, the doubt and the fear or the voices of others. And it goes back to asking yourself first, what is it that you would love, and suspend all those doubts. And when those doubts, of course, you're going to have thoughts of fear and doubt come up. And when that comes up, you just, say, I'm going to revisit that in an hour, and you actually surprisingly do have the ability to tell your mind to do certain things, although sometimes it feels like it takes over. And just really say, I'm going to revisit that. The only thing I'm doing right now is sourcing what I would love, and sourcing and suspending what others are telling me to do or what I think I should do, and just allow myself to dream a little.
Oh, my gosh.
You mentioned Napoleon Hill earlier, and Jack Canfield seems to subscribe to a lot of that. Some of the things Oprah Winfrey has talked about, it's kind of along the same lines of The Secret or the Law of Attraction, that kind of a thing. Do you, there was one thing I've often thought about when listening to some of those things. When somebody says, I visualize or I want to manifest $2 million, I often think, wouldn't it be better to manifest or to visualize what you want to do with that money, not the money itself?
For sure, absolutely. Because honestly, nobody wants to sit in a room with bags and bags of money, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's it.
You want to do something with that money. And the power in, actually 2 points I want to make there. The first thing is that I believe that we live in an abundant and infinite universe that's so much more than all of us know. So, of course, it's in infinite possibility. It's possible, right, to have that much money. It's a matter of your belief of how much it can match that. And when you set an amount so high that you've never been able to do it, that's your belief doesn't match it, so you don't really, you can't bring it because you can't take the actions to do it. The second thing is our mind thinks in images. And so it's so much more powerful to actually start thinking of like what you said, like think about what you would do with that money. You know, are you going on vacation? Are you sharing it with loved ones? Are you building your business? Are you interacting with clients? Like, so that you actually see images rather than just an amount, because that's what shifts your self-image and your creates that ability for you to take the actions that move you forward with that, for sure.
And you also have to accept the fact that, you know, when a person is successful, that they shouldn't feel guilty about it, that they should embrace the joy that comes with that, and then they're able to share that joy with others.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good point, you know, because it's really interesting. And it was through this work and actually studying this myself that I actually realized people have a fear of success. Like, as I talk to a lot of clients when they, you know, open up to me, that there's this fear that if, you know, I have success, I'm going to lose love, or if I have success, I'm going to lose relationships, or I'm going to work more, or I'm going to have to compromise my health. These are all, like, limiting beliefs that a lot of people hold around success. But, like, to what you said, that's not, you can have the success and then be able to give more and do more and have a rich life and have fulfilling life. So I think when some of these doubts come up, and that's what sometimes holds people back, they sabotage their own success, is that you really got to push back on some of these beliefs. It's like, is that true? Because that's not true. You can't actually, you know, do more and give more when you have more to give.
The book is called Self-Defined Success. You Already Have Everything It Takes is the subtitle. And one of the things I thought about is, I was looking through the prep material, was the idea that if you had a coach, maybe it would help. But if you can't have a coach, this book would serve as a coach. And if you went to a coaching class, let's say, and you were one of many people that was being coached by the person at the front of the room, chances are you would take notes. And this book does it for you. So the book sort of serves as a motivational tool in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I poured everything into this book. I poured a lot of the principles. You can really definitely use it as a workbook and, you know, walk through the principles and see the impact of this. And that's really my intention and my hope for readers.
So everything that you've been speaking about, can we sum that up in the 3 words, an intuitive strategist? Yes, so it's really combining strategy with intuition, right, in our nonlinear intelligence to really move you from where you are to where you want to be. That's probably not the most condensed way. So when a person is building up their desires and they look and see what kind of career they want, it's almost like raising a child.
Yeah, it is. You know, a dream, a vision is like it's a seed, right? It's a baby, and you want to like pour energy and life into it and like nurture it and let it grow. And, you know, I think the law of the mind, the law of our universe really works the same way. It's a law of the farm, where if you plant the seed and you do it in the right way and you pour love and you nurture it, it will grow and it will bloom.
It always does, and the rain. You're right. One of the things I often think about when I hear young people, young adults, talking about having a family, and they'll say we have to wait because we don't have enough money. I think back to like years gone by when nobody ever gave that a thought, and the children just came, and somehow they worked it out. You know,
yeah.
Right? There's always a way.
Yes.
So do you have any can you share a success story of your own or somebody else's that was able to tap into this technique and become successful or more successful?
I can definitely share a personal story because I don't have permission to share any of my client stories on the spot. But I, you know, just even writing itself. I mean, I have a couple of different businesses, but writing is a passion of mine. I've had so many books on the back burner. I wanted to write for like 10 years, but it took me that long to publish my first book. And because I just had so much fear. When you're an author, you're really putting yourself out there, right, and your ideas, and you never know how people are going to react.
Right.
And so I actually got taught the system by my mentor and started learning, you know, shifting my energy and my attention from all the fear to the vision of what I want to create and take action steps forward and shift my self-image. And within 3 months of doing this, I actually wrote and published my first book. And then I started writing up the manuscripts for 2 more books. So this one got published, and then another book, 1 Million Steps, got published last week as well. And so
Wow.
you can get results very quickly.
And what's really amazing about you, since you have your degrees in biochemistry and biophysics, and also bioengineering, you are branching out into the personal realm of the personalities of people.
Yeah, I just love science, and I have a very inquisitive mind. So studying this has really allowed me to, see success principles, also to study like the metaphysics side of it, the science of it, the biology of it, and put it all together so I can see a holistic view. And it's really just so miraculous, like what is out there and the information and what we're capable of.
Tell me what you think luck is.
Luck is, let's see if I can get this right, because I really love this definition. It's preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah,
Nice.
I do like
Nice.
that. That's very smart. Oh my gosh, what a great conversation we've had. Self-defined success. We define the success of these interviews by the amount of good it will do for the listeners, and I think that to me is a more successful interview than simply having fun or being funny. It's the idea that we've given some information just by having a conversation that will actually help somebody out there, and I think you hit it over the wall.
Out of the park.
Out of the park. There's
Out of the park.
Thank you. Yes,
All right.
I love that.
So I found it on Amazon. Do you have any other like a website or something you'd like to recommend?
Yeah, I do. I have it. You can also go to my personal website as well. I have a bit.ly link because my name is probably not the easiest to pronounce, but it's just bit.ly, so bit.ly / the letters NHN books. And then you can see my other books there as well on my website.
All right, tell me it again. Bit.ly, B-I-T-L.
bit.ly bit.ly NHN books.
And that's it, huh? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay. Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Let me try it again. Nguyen?
Yes.
Did I do it right? I wrote it phonetically, so
Perfect.
I wouldn't mess.
No, it's really good. I struggle with it sometimes, so it's okay.
You can't struggle. With your own name, you don't struggle. No, you don't. Oh my gosh.
You are amazing. I love you. You are providing such a great service and such opportunity for every individual, I think.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that.
Real quick insight on this audience. We have the University of Florida and we have retirees. So we have the whole spectrum of young to old. And I think your message will be applicable no matter how old you are.
Oh, definitely. It's never too young or too old to dream.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that.
Love
Yeah.
that.
There's a T-shirt right there. Nguyen, thank you. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you so much for
All right,
having me.
we'll be right back.
Summertime is tree planting time because young trees just love this warm and wet summer weather. And right now, Bob Wines is overstocked with quality trees. You pick the one you want from their huge